Chair. 20 beautiful books under the fold of Honorable Isaac. Tunasema wonderful presentation. At this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, we want to officially launch this book so that it can be released to the world, so that it can grow its own wings. And Honorable Isaac is going to do us the honors of officially declaring the launch of the book. And at this point in time, I want to also invite a few leaders to join him, as well as Albert Malova, in this act of declaring the book launched.
Yeah, thank you very much. First and foremost is to congratulate this young man, Albert Malova, for having written a very good book, A Comrade Forever, because it's actually, the title itself clearly shows that he is ready to continuously stand for what is right, to affect the people that voted for him to become the president of Royal University Student Association. But even now, in his capacity as a principal assistant to the principal assistant to the principal secretary, really a very organized young man. And this is the kind of leadership that we aspire, because they remind us of us when we were young, because that's the determination that we used to have to really move forward and create a niche for ourselves. I don't know, Malova, you finished university then? Just imagine, he finished university in 2021, he's now a PA to a PS. So that tells you a lot. And for all the young people who are out there, don't just sit back and wait for opportunity to come your way. You've got to stand up, so you have to stand out. You have to really prove that you have something to offer. Not just claiming youth, because it is an easy term to talk about marginalization and lack of opportunities. There's always room for the best at the top. Now for the government, we are doing a lot concerning young people. Just yesterday, I had a conversation with the boss of the Nuclear Power Authority, Mr. Mwaura, and we are trying to make sure that we power our development, because there's a direct covariance between nuclear energy and development. The countries that have got nuclear power are the most developed. So what we are trying to do is to make sure that we fund these power source as a clean source of energy, so that we can establish more industries. I remember when I was a student at the University of England, the University of Leeds in England, I was paying only £1 for my power every month. So please, we cannot have more jobs if we don't have enough power. Kenya is only producing 3,321 megawatts against a very serious demand if you are to the industry. We are the third largest economy in sub-Saharan Africa. So for young people to get jobs, we need a lot of energy, clean energy, renewable energy for that development. But practically, we've had jobs for young people in our affordable housing sector. We have been able to create over 200,000 jobs there, both for skilled and unskilled. I remember finding young engineers who are women at the Mackenzie housing project, affordable housing project. We've actually been able to give MSMEs over 12 billion shillings already underwritten for supplying of doors, windows and hinges alone. But we also have architects who are employed in this project. And when we continue doing this program, we have over 200,000 houses to construct every year. 5 years, that's 1 million houses. So those are jobs for young people. Number two, we have been able to take our young people abroad. I know there are those who are naysayers because they have seen a maid being, a story there from Saudi Arabia and whatever. But the truth of the matter is there are over 4 million Kenyans out there. And last year alone, they were able to send to this country $4.95 billion US. That's about 613 billion 551 shillings a year. And most of this money is actually 85% is going to support their family members. These are young people who are working in Qatar, they are working in Germany, they are working in the US. So there are jobs out there because Kenyans are very, very skilled. And that is only 5% of the income of our diaspora. If you look at the totality of that amount of money, our diaspora is able to get 12 trillion shillings, 12.8 trillion to be precise, 12.8 trillion. So our young people, when you have your skills, Our Jobs Maju is very good program at the Ministry of Diaspora and Ministry of Labor. And we also are doing counter-trafficking and protection at the Ministry of Social Protection. We've had this conversation yesterday with the monthly meeting of PSS. We also now have the Nyota program, which is over 20 billion, giving money to over 100,000 youth, 50,000 shillings each, but targeting up to 800,000 people. That's a very innovative program. Just now I was having a conversation with the PS for MSME. She's trying to secure more money for a youth investment bank. We have given so much money through the Hustler Fund that actually has enabled many young people to get microloans so that they are now included in the financial system. Further to it, we are working very hard in the creative economy because now we are establishing stadium. We just finished the one for Homa Bay, Raila Odinga Stadium, so that young people can get opportunities. We've already paid we have already committed to pay the 5 billion together with Uganda and Tanzania to host Chan 2024. We are preparing Talanta Stadium, Kasarani we are upgrading, Yayo, and even the Kipchoge Keino Stadium, so that we have opportunities for our young people in sports. When it comes to funding of education, we want to have a viable new funding model for universities. Currently, we have an opportunity because the courts have given us to continue implementing this program or funding model until they have determined the case. So please, the deadline for you to get your courses for young people is this Saturday under COOPS, so that then you are properly allocated your course. We will finance using the 5 clusters. We have had a task force of young people led by student leaders, and they are going to be very keen to ensure that we get their information, their recommendation right, so that we modify that model. We modify the model to suit the needs of our students. So that is something we commit ourselves to. Further to it, we also have the teacher employment program. We promised to employ 116,000 teachers when we came in. So far we have employed 76,000. By January next year, we are going to employ another 24,000 teachers. And I tell you, without a doubt, by the time we go to the elections, we'll be able to have employed 116,000 teachers, if not more. Further to it, we are looking at the value chain. And the value chains are very critical in giving money to our young people, even in the rural areas. For example, the rice value chain is now going to really increase because we want to have 1 million acres under irrigation. Just yesterday, I had the day before yesterday, I had a conversation with an investor from India who is coming to take the 5,000 acres in Mwaura that will create 10,000 jobs for our young people. And further to it, if you look at the fair irrigation rice, the last 2 years, we've been able to, as a government, raise the economy there from 6 billion to 17 billion. Again, this is the money that is going to our young people. So, Lisa Nyang, my good friend, I am happy to see you as a journalist.
Yeah.
And it's good to tell your story. Addis Ababa, under UNICEF Young Journalist Program, and she became a journalist. And she has worked with Hot 96 and other media, and also she was the MC of my evening party when I got married. Thank you.
Wait, just one question. Yeah, just one question.
Gladys Wanga right now, she's a chairperson of the biggest party in Kenya, ODM. So this shows that leadership can truly be nurtured. It is a testament that actually you can have good leaders when they have really been nurtured from the beginning. When you just see that there is something in them and they need to be supported. Yeah, we are seeing the best member of parliament today. I think that is certain statistics. Babu, doing well in Abakasi. He was a student leader. James Orengo was a student leader, and many other. Was a student leader. Kipchumba Murkomen was a student leader. And so there is something about being a student leader that when we support our student leaders, and that is my clarion call, that I wish we have even a state department in the Ministry of Education dedicated to support student leaders, because it's a talent. That is where we can get our leaders. When we talk about corruption and many things that are injustices that are happening within our systems, is because our leaders have not been properly taken through the processes of being ironed up to become good leaders that will serve delicately without any issues that end out from people that they don't know maybe how to present them, they don't know how to address issues, they don't know how to implement what I said, they don't know how to come up with policies. So I think leadership to me, especially from young people, should be supported. Thank you so much, members of the state. My name is Albert Maloba. I'm really grateful for you coming. Everybody who has come to press this occasion, my launch of my first book, Comrades Forever. I never thought ever in my life that I would be a writer, but I think immediately after campus, and of course through many of our stories in life, where we sit down and we realize that sometimes you find friendship with only a single pen and a paper. So it sometimes begins by you just drawing even your first page. How do you want your page of the book or the design of the page to look like? I remember my first time drawing how I would like my book to look like. And that was in 2021. And it's now an idea, fully into a book. It is more of a memoir, speaking into life of the life experience, how I grew up in Samia. I come from Samia. But if you see that is Funyola in Sia County. Grew up in the village just like any other boys, going to take care of the cattle in the fields and coming back in the evening, after you're taking them for grazing and all that, doing the house chores at home, going to class and sneaking in even very late after the class has begun, through the window. And it's a story with beautiful memories. My campus life, of course, as a leader and the experience that were there, what it entails to be a comrade and a student leader, what happens around the university lifestyle and all that. It is all covered in this book. So I invite everybody, every Kenyan, every young person, those who want to aspire to be leaders, the young leaders, those who are parents, they want to see the life of their young people, their young children who are in universities and they are aspiring to be leaders. I think leadership to me is just like any other thing that should be nurtured, should be watered very time to time. Leadership to me is like marathon. Those who see marathoners running, training every day, every morning, waking up in the morning to go and train in the cold, in the night, just to build up their muscles so that they can go and win those goals abroad. This is how leadership should be like. I think when we focus on transforming our leadership to young people, we'll have a very transformed nation. We find that we are aching as a nation in terms of leadership just because we never nurtured the aspect of leadership, especially at a very young age. So for me, as a young person and as a young leader, I am very much motivated to mentor so many young people, to speak to so many young people, to represent them, to advocate for them, and just to speak the truth to power that it is possible to be a leader and to be in any space. Those who are in entrepreneurship, those who are in politics, those who are in social spaces, creatives and all that. So it is a new era, dawn of new era that is with us. And so we should support new talents. So I think I thank God that I also have a talent of writing. And being this as a first book, I think there are many more which I write. I'll do the second edition, the third edition, and then I think I'll be trying to write and see what is new that we can add in this Comrade Forever. I look at comradeship as kind of the reason why a Comrade Forever, as a title someone will ask, is because first of all I looked at it as when this idea came to me, I looked at it as my first comrade on planet Earth was my late mom, Mama Alice Richie, the late, who really loved us and loved me so much, and whose aspirations and still values are still reigning in me. And I think this is evident to many of my friends, my colleagues, and people that interact with, that comradeship goes beyond the university lifestyle where we call it in terms of, where we look at it in terms of activism. But it is more of the network that you've created, the family that you've created amongst each other. As media people, you are comrades with each other. When you ask one person a link so that you can download and put your news on the other media station, it's just out of comradeship, and that needs to be nurtured and watered. It needs to be inspired with so many people, many amongst us, so that we can live amongst each other and upendo. And I was very, very happy for the many guests who have come during this launch. We've had the government spokesperson, Honorable Mwaura. He was a student leader. We are now having Jacobs, who was also a student leader, and he is now principal secretary. This is so amazing. He's a young man. It is very inspiring to me and even to many young people who are here witness this book.
So how many books have you produced now?
And this is my first. So I think when we were to support young leaders, especially student leaders, to me I think...
Let's do this! 3, 2, 1! Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you a Comrades forever. Wapi shangwe na vigelegele to Albert Maloba. Thank you.
Albert Maloba is now officially an author here in the Republic of Kenya.
Absolutely.
Congratulations, Albert Maloba. A very big congratulations.
Yeah.
I only saw his invitation yesterday because he dropped it in an office that I had not visited because I may have, I have been moving a lot. So that determination, that organization, I think it's the one thing that also made my friend Auma Mangeni to have you as a personal assistant. And by the way, for your information, she has been ranked as one of the best performing, very able principal secretaries. Na Waswahili wanasema kwamba ukiona bielea imeundwa. That tells us that the power behind that organization is this personal assistant. And because I've been a member...
I want to make the thoughts of it. Members of the court, especially ready?